From the studios of KPTV, Oregon's 12, you're watching Good Day Oregon with Pete Berryman, Andy Carson, and Tony Martinez.
Some are calling it one of the most exciting Super Bowls in recent history.
Stay tuned for highlights coming up in our next half hour. Also, you know, the Super Bowl was not just the only big sporting event.
It was the big event, but there were other things going on.
There were, yeah. The Blazers were in town. They were back at the Rose Garden looking to get back into the win column, and Tim Becker's going to have highlights of that coming up as well.
And it's time to check in with our good buddy, Phil Cassidy. Good morning, Phil. Happy Monday to you.
Hey, you too, you guys. Over at a computer museum, the local man's putting it together. He's got the Commodore 64. He's got the Apple Business Computer. Come on back. We're going to go back in time.
When we come back, we'll have another look at your traffic and weather. And later, Phil Cassidy will talk with a Portland man trying to preserve computer history. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Phil's Follies is hardwired to a local computer museum this morning. Where do you see this? This is really amazing.
There's another pun there. Well, that's not really a pun. Just a play on words. Phil joins us live with the story of a man preserving megabyte history.
There you go.
Hey, your pun's megabyte. That's all I got to say. It's total punishment from you people this morning, you guys. Hanging out with Tom Howe. He works up at OHSU. He's a computer consultant up there, and he's got quite a computer collection going. And I have never seen this one right here. But, Tom, go ahead and explain what this is real quick.
Well, this could be called the first personal computer. It's called the MiniVac 6010. And the way it worked was that you would program it by putting jumpers in these holes, take a couple hours to program it. And then this was your memory, 6 relays, so no RAM, was electromechanical. And it only had 6 bits of memory then, and your output would be on these binary numbers.
It was the MiniVac 6010, that's the name of this thing.
Yeah, it was named after the UNIVAC, which was used to predict the 1952 election, which the computer was right and everybody else was wrong.
So it's better than the ToneDar 12,000 that we have. And why do you collect computers? What's up with that? Why did you decide to do that?
Oh, I collect them because I've always been a collector my entire life, and when computers started becoming, old computers became cheap, you find them in thrift stores and whatever, I started collecting them, and they're nice because you can work on them and do things with them as well as looking at them.
And some of these still work. Let's go to the one over here. This is IBM's first computer. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's the IBM 5100. And their PC, which came out 6 years later, was actually called 5150. The thing about this one was that it was $10,000 to $20,000 in price, and with that you only got 32K of RAM, which is nothing compared to what the computers have nowadays.
And everybody kind of makes fun of the Commodore brand name, the 64.
Yeah.
And this was Commodore's first computer right here. Look at the keyboards right here. It was like finger twister. It was just so tight and compact, huh?
Yeah, I mean that was a joke to try to type on. And you had to store all your programs on audio cassettes too, so that was slower than a 2400 baud modem. The data would be read off really slow. What's cool about it was you can open it up though and have it be like a car, like the hood of a car.
Worked on that baby right there. This is Apple's entry right here. And going back to you guys in the studio, apparently Apple sent out a memo of some sort that said if you dropped it like 6 inches above the ground, it would seat the chips better. Is that right, Tom?
Yeah, it was actually a service bulletin they have where if it was giving you memory errors, like we turn it on and we'll get a memory error, and if you dropped it,
it would fix
that would fix this memory error you see there.
Yeah, my boss wanted to take my computer and just throw it out the window,
Yeah, Pete's having flashbacks in here right now.
There's so many great stories about some of those machines. I think that MiniVac machine, the first one you showed us,
yeah,
right here, that is Bill Gates actually wrote some software for that, and that's how he got started. Was that he was able to come up with some software to actually make that thing do something.
A wealth of information.
I think he has photos of that from his working in the garage days, Pete.
We look forward to seeing more later, Phil. Thank you so much.
And it's where old computers come back to life. Phil joins us from Commodore 64 Central.
That's right, you guys. Yeah, we're going to explore the world of old video games coming up. You know about Atari, but what about Vutrex? Apparently, this game works better when you wear these. Oh, wow, the colors, man.
And it's computer history on parade where Phil Cassidy is this morning. Phil.
Yeah, Kim, and I guess in these old laptops, you had to power them up yourself. You were the power supply. Let me see if I get this thing going. 00101 00101.
meet them.
Well, I feel like I really feel left out.
We enjoyed it. We loved it. Hey, do you remember what the first personal computers looked like? You guys probably do. I'm a lot younger than
It's
you.
a Commodore.
You know, my friend,
Phil, my friend Skipper Bassett had a Commodore.
Skipper Bassett had a Commodore 64 down the street, and I remember writing simple programs on that.
Is his sister's name Buffy?
Yeah, my dad got one 10 years after they came out. You know, he's all bragging. He got it at a garage sale. We got a computer now. You know, it's like, yeah, Commodore 64, Dad. You ever heard of the Apple Macintosh? You know? Sorry, Dad, to bust the chops on the air like that. Hanging out with Tom Howe, and yes, he has a computer museum that he's putting together. You can't come visit it, so he's invited us to his place. Last hour, we showed you some PCs and how it all started. This segment, we're going to go through the video games, and he does have a Pong, by the way. It's just not operational right now. And this is the Atari 2600. Tommy, tell us what we're looking at.
Well, the Atari 2600, when it originally came out, they called it the Atari Video Computer System. And the reason for that was a marketing thing, because in the early infancy of video games, they wanted to promote them as being computers, so kids could get their parents to talk them into buying it.
And so it's sort of like an educational thing.
Yeah, and they even came out with a basic programming cartridge for the thing.
Yeah.
When you had to drag the program, you had to actually type with the joystick.
Oh, really?
Which, took forever, but, here it was, I can learn basic programming on my Atari.
It's kind of like that Circuit City commercial where the guy's talking to the sales guy saying, this thing gets an insane amount of sports channels, and the wife comes up, and then the sales guy goes, and you and your family can enjoy some educational programs, too. So it's kind of a marketing ploy to get people to actually buy this, but it was 90% play and 10% programming, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Even more.
This one right here, this is pretty cool right here. This is called the Vutrex. And explain what this is. And you said you could buy this for like, what, $80 back in '84 during the video game crash or something?
Yeah, $60 a clearance price. And they can go for one on eBay went for $1,500 still in the box.
And the mask is part of it, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on because apparently it's black and white on the monitor, but then you put this on, and there's a little color wheel inside, kind of like the color wheel that you put on your chrome Christmas tree, and it basically enhances the colors. It's almost like being at the old laser light show at Homsey. All you need is a little Pink Floyd. Matt and Nadia, do we have any Pink Floyd? Never mind, I'll sing. Welcome to the machine. Ken and Kim, back to you. I'm playing a little Vutrex. I'm doing that voodoo that I know so well.
He is just loving this.
Oh, that Atari game is bringing me back. I haven't seen that thing in 20 years, the tank game.
Yeah, well, I haven't played that. I just played Pong on Atari.
And Pete, it looks like your name's on the top as the high score, too, by the way.
What Phil doesn't know is that thing he put on erases most of his memory also.
And apparently you're going to see all this stuff in the background on that 80s show. This is like, the period stuff, so look for it.
I'll give him $100 for that Atari game. That's awesome,
Let's get back to Tony Martinez quickly so he can wrap up our traffic.
I guess those goggles double as a welding mask in case you need it repaired. You're going to need it. I'll just weld it back together again.
We are honoring people who made history with Black History Month, and also this morning taking you back in time with the computer.
Evolution. You say you want a computer evolution, Phil Gaffney. Yeah, Phil?
And that's right, you guys. At Tom Howe's house, and he's basically been collecting computers since the mid-'80s, and he's got a website. Say it again, Tom. What's the website? CDEmagic.com?
CEDmagic.com.
CEDmagic.com. Go there. He's got some fun stuff on there. And just tell us about this computer. This is the first PC, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It's the first IBM PC computer. It came with dual floppies, no hard drive, even for about $3,000 price. And what it booted up, and if you didn't have DOS, it would boot up into BASIC. So we were doing a little bit of basic programming here just to show how that works.
And this was pretty cumbersome. This is pre-Windows, so you really had to know computer programming to actually make this work. Isn't that correct?
That's right. Because if you had to learn the DOS commands, you don't know them. You type on the keyboard, it tells you a bad command.
Yeah.
So you can't just go around and click stuff and figure it out. You have to actually type and spell everything exactly right. So if I made one spelling error in that little program there, it wouldn't work. So we'll see if I got it right here. I'm going to go ahead and run the program, which is a common thing that people used to do for a joke would be to have the computer display the same line over and over again. So if I hit return here, it's going to start playing Good Day Oregon over and over and over forever.
Very nice. Nice job. You completed the task. Let's come on over here and just go down the row here and just explain what computers we're seeing right there, Tom.
Well, this was the first clone of the IBM compatible, so it's the very first compact computer as well. And,
laptop or?
Well, I guess you could call it a laptop. It was considered a portable computer back then, even though it's huge. It weighs 30 pounds.
Wow.
The thing is, it's supposed to fit on an airplane, and I don't really know if it would fit on a modern airplane.
Not nowadays, though, right? I mean, the security and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you took that to try to take an airplane now, they'd say, "Oh, what is that thing?"
Yeah. And let's go to the Apples here.
Yeah, this is the Lisa, which was Apple's first graphical environment. So this was a very expensive machine, $10,000, and this hard drive was half the price, and that's only has 5 megabytes of space on it.
Wow.
$5,000.
$5,000.
Yeah.
And then let's come on over here because you got the 1984, the Apple Macintosh computer right here, and above it, this is what we've evolved to. It's the 2002 laptop with the 1984 Macintosh Super Bowl commercial. And check it out. Here it comes, you guys, as we go back to you. Remember this one. It only ran once, I guess, and that was during the Super Bowl, and they never ran it again. It was an award-winning commercial, and you probably remember this. All the clones sitting there, and the woman in red in the Apple Macintosh red shorts, and eventually she threw a sledgehammer at the screen. It was kind of a George Orwell takeoff of 1984 and Apple Macintosh's view of the computer world.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Phil, do you remember that?
This commercial?
Yeah.
Yes, you bet. No question about it.
Kimberly was 3 years old. She
No,
doesn't
I
remember.
wasn't. It's my senior year of high school. But wow, that's pretty amazing stuff he has there.
It's pretty amazing, where we've come from and where we're at now, and who knows where it's going to go. I'm sure it's going to end up in Tom Howe's house eventually, though.
Phil, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Some fun stuff.
Yeah, it's great.